connection with you, the learner.
At Samvia, we believe our smile is our business card and our personality is our logo. And how we make people feel after you experience our education and tools is our trademark.
Join us.
Join us.
Join us.
Join us, my friends, and be a part of the Samvia community.
Good morning, my friends. Samvia here. I cannot tell you how excited I am about these next 2 days. And we are honored to be here with you guys this weekend. As we all know, the America's Beauty Show was to take place this weekend. And unfortunately, it didn't happen. And when it was canceled, which for the right reasons, I told my team the show must go on. So here we are today. And I want to thank you so much for your time as we value it. Make sure you take a look at the schedule. There's going to be lots going on today and tomorrow. We're very excited. First of all, I want to thank our support, our partners in this program. And those partners are Pivot Point, Redken, ABS, and Professional Beauty Association. They are awesome in terms of what they are doing and how they're trying to help with this crisis that is happening as we navigate ourselves through it day to day. So I want to thank these people, Pivot Point, Redken, Professional Beauty Association, and America's Beauty Show. All day long, my friends, we're going to have prizes after each segment. There's going to be a small amount of breaks that are going to take place. So during those breaks, grab a cup of coffee, a cocktail, a beverage of your choice, and continue to take notes and follow us along. But we've got cutting, men's cut. I'm going to do a haircut. I'm going to go visit the Pixie. We've got men's. We've got some long hair. We've got some really salonable stuff that we want you to be able to take home. That's so important at Samvia. Also, what's going to happen is we're going to be giving away prizes at the end of each segment. And as things pop up, make sure you're following along and you can read in terms of how we're giving those prizes. So I want to thank Pivot Point. What are you giving away, Sam? We're going to be giving away mannequins. That's right. We're giving away mannequins. And I can't thank Pivot Point enough for what they've done for the industry in terms of really giving us an opportunity to work with a mannequin that has natural human hair, 100% human hair, and you can cut, color it. This is our particular mannequin, and it's called Liddy. So Lydia, named after my mom. So proud of that. So some people are going to have an opportunity to win this. After each segment, there's different prizes going to happen. Also, what we're going to have is Pivot Point tripods. You could have an opportunity to win a Pivot Point tripod. You could have opportunity to win Samvia tools. We're going to be giving away shears, combs, irons, blow dryers, all the next 2 days. And then I want to thank Redken because Redken also is going to be contributing. And guess what? They have come out with their new Extreme Bleach Recovery range. And with this range, I want you to think of it like a liquid bandage. And let me get it up. A liquid bandage for compromised hair. That's a great way to look at it. So thank you, Redken, for that opportunity. Also, PBA, make sure you take a look at Professional Beauty Association. They have all the questions for you in regards to helping you navigate as the days move forward in this crisis. Please also note that they have free membership. So if you're not a member, become a member of Professional Beauty Association. All right, so let's get on, my friends. What I want to do is I want to go through and visit the Pixie. And I have 3 different types of variations behind me. A Pixie, just like anything, like a bob, there's all kinds of variations. Just depends upon how you tend to look at it. So I want to go through it. I want to show you just a really nice way to visit a Pixie and utilizing various tools in order to create that. So I'm going to be working with blenders, reversible blender, and I'm going to be working with our Invisiblend shear. That's correct, guys. I'm going to do this entire cut working with texturizing tools. Now, for some of my people out there, the whole idea that we want you to get out there is walk away with a learning in these next 2 days. We really respect how you choose to cut hair, how you choose to finish hair. But I'm a type of believer, and the team is a believer. We can find a number of ways in which to do something. We will do that. So what we want to do in these next 2 days is just complement your style. That's all we want to do. We all have different types of ways that we do things. And how you discover those ways to do things, that's what gives you your results. And I don't know about you, but sometimes I keep doing it over and over, and it becomes a habit. When it becomes a habit, that's because you really believe in it. So we really don't want to, affect your belief system, but what we want to do is really touch your hands. We want to touch your mind. And of course, we want to touch your heart. We want to give you different ways in which to achieve things. As we all know, hopefully and probably you're going to be very busy when you get back to salon. So how can I get there, Sam, in a nice, effective quality without sacrificing quality? How can I get there to help me really maximize my time behind the chair? So let's watch this. Take a look at this. Let's talk about the Pixie. All right. So I'm going to move my models off to the side. Thank you, girls, for being here. And then let's take a look at my sectioning. The sectioning on this is very interesting in terms of what we've done and how we're doing it. So the idea in the sectioning is, once again, I'm going to pre-section. Now, sometimes you might not choose to pre-section. That's your personal choice. But I'm going to choose to section because of the way that I'm going to detach certain areas. And it's important for me to stay in control. So if you section, you're going to have control of what it is that you're doing. So let's bring in my model. Okay, so I pre-cut some of this already. All right, so let's take a look at what I pre-cut. Okay, so what I've done is I've gone through and I pre-cut it. I want you to take a look at that, what I'm getting. I'm getting very soft edges immediately through this by working with the reversible blender and the Invisiblend. Take a look at the sectioning. With the sectioning, what I simply did was I went through and circled off at the top a circular section that came up just about above the parietal ridge, just slightly above that. So now this sectioning, the height of this section could vary with density. So you have to be aware of that. Then what I did is take a look at the hairline, how it curves like this. And all I did was continue that curve, working right around all the way to just below or at the occipital bone. Once again, just a messenger sharing a pattern with you. You adjust the pattern accordingly to density and the type of fabric, the type of texture you're working with. Underneath here, let's talk about what I did, which I've already done on both sides now. I've gone through and I've undercut this. All of this is already undercut, as you can see. And what I wanted to do was I wanted to go in and create that soft texture. So this was all undercut with a blending shear. That's correct, with a blending shear. So that what I did was it immediately gave me a soft edge. Sometimes when I work scissor over comb, this is very helpful. When you work scissor over comb, sometimes you might get steps. So work with a blending shear as long as you realize when you go to close that shear, you're elevating above a horizontal line when you're working scissor over comb. This way, when it collapses, it's going to fall with a softer edge to it. So what we did was we worked all the way underneath. Now let's continue to see what I'm going to do up on the top here with step 2, which is going to be the top, this area that I've already pre-cut here. On one side, I'm going to now cut the opposite side for you. So I'm going to cut this side now. I'm going to work with this all in a compressed manner, meaning that I'm going to lift the entire section at once and cut it with the blending shear. Now, some of you may be thinking, oh, that doesn't sound right. Things change, my friends. Just be open to change. I challenge you just to try it and see the end result that you will get. Take a look. Okay. Now I'm going to work with water, but I'm also working with Redken's United, One United, and I'm using that in my water bottle as a cutting lotion, and that's if it's fine hair. If it's normal hair, then I simply recommend what you do is work with it on its own right out of the bottle. And this is one of my favorite cutting lotions that I work with. Now, I'm not here to sell you, my friends, but I'm going to tell you the product I'm working with because a lot of people ask me about the product. All right, so I'm going to start in the front area. And what I'm going to do, actually, I'll start in the back area. You can start in the front or the back. So here's what we've done. I'm working on the right side of the head. What I have here, if you take a look at this section, at Samvia, this is what we believe to be the entire side area. So if you notice, I'm going traditionally a little bit further back behind the ear than directly over the ear than what I've been traditionally taught. What we've discovered a lot of times when I'm working with longer hair and I'm cutting shags or I'm cutting bobs, it helps me to eliminate that mistake of possibly getting a hole behind the ear. Now let's take a look at this section here. So I have a guideline on this opposite side that I've already created. Now take a look at what we've done. What we've done is this area that you see here, okay? If I take a look at this area, watch when I lift this. That's been undercut, okay? So all this has been undercut with a blending shear. This collapses over it. How short you take this, you know, you can take it as short because remember, this will collapse over that. So the idea is I'm working a short to long line. Let's take a look at it. Here we go. So let's look at this section here. Make sure I've got my back, okay? And look, watch how I'm going to just elevate this. I'm going to put this in a position so that you can see.
Hey guys, I guess we're having a little technical difficulty with Sammy's feed right now, so just be patient. It'll probably pick back up here in a second. We'll get right back to it. All right, hang on, we got him back. Sammy, where'd you go, bro?
Andrew, you know where I live? Sometimes this Wi-Fi just drops, and I'm sorry about that. Even though I have a large business account, you would think it would work. But I'm back, and that's most important.
Hey,
so,
you don't have your phone that's sending the Instagram feed? You don't have that on the Wi-Fi, do you?
Okay, I'm getting ready. Yes, I do have it on the Wi-Fi. Do you want me to just do it? That's what it is.
Take that off.
Okay, so what I'll do is just video. How's that?
Yeah, I would just take us off the Instagram feed for now. Let's just that way we're not taking up bandwidth from the Facebook and YouTube feed.
All right, buddy, I got that.
Shut her down.
All right, here we go.
All right, have fun.
All right, thank you. All right, guys, sorry about that. Once in a while where I live, I lose my Wi-Fi, even though I have a large business account. It's amazing what happens. So let's get back to work. I'm back in this area here, and I'm going to go through, once again, I'm working with a little bit of moisture. And I like working with a little bit of moisture now. I'm still doing some dry cutting, but maybe not as much. Here we go. Let's take this section now. And I'm going to take it this way so that you can see. You can really see what I'm doing here. All right, here we go. Let's take this section. Now watch how I'm taking a piece of my guide back here. And now watch how I'm placing my hand. I'm placing my hand to the curvature of that area, right flat to that area. Then all I'm going to simply do is with the wide, fine teeth of the comb, I'm going to elevate this. Once my hand sees that guideline right here, then I know I'm ready to cut. Now watch the blending shear come in. I'm going to take the blunt blade, place that on the bottom so the sharper edge is on the bottom. And now I'm just going to move back left and right, maintaining my elevation, left and right. Now watch. Immediately when I lift, there's two things happen. Because of my degree of elevation, this is going to fall short to long. Yet because of the fact that I'm working with a blending shear, it's just going to give me really a lot more softness to it. Once again, let's take a section, go up. As soon as I get to my guide, okay, right where I'm at. Now my hand is right up against the head. So really, it's up against the head. So I'm going to bring her up a little bit more so you can see. All right. So my hand is up against the head when I'm cutting this. Watch. I'm going to stay here. Now, Sam, do you normally cut sitting down? No, I'm going to sit down so that it's just going to enable me a little bit better for you to see what I'm doing. Okay. So the idea, once again, is keep that hand right up against that head as you're working. So I take it up. I'm looking for my guide that I've cut from that opposite side. And now watch how I'll just move left, right, left, right. Sam, why do you move left, right, left, right? By moving left, right, what that does is that enables me to cut all the hair. But because I'm using a blending shear, that edge has just a little bit of softness to it, almost as if I was scanning it. That's what makes it, keeps it soft, all right? So now let's move through, and I'm moving into, as I move up, just follow, look how my hand goes to the shape of that parting. So I elevate up, watch me elevate, and see where I'm at. There's my guide. That's my guide. Now I come through, and I place that blending shear through, and I come through and move left to right, and I release. Okay. What I love about this, guys, in terms of working with this, is the fact that really it gives me a little bit more, rather than taking it section by section, I'm taking it all at once. Why, Sam, would you do something like that? Well, number one, time. And I know that my top crown area that I have on top, I'm aware that that is going to collapse over this. So that doesn't bother me, the fact that I'm going through and using a blending shear. I would rather get the soft edge immediately rather than going through. Now, are there times, Sam, where you might take it section by section? Yes, guys, there are. But I'm trying to give you just another different approach in terms of how to do it. Now look at where I'm at. I'm going to stand up for you because I raised it up so you can see a little bit better. Okay, now look where I'm at. So my hand, look at my hand change as I moved around. So what's key is this, is when we go through and we're working, you want to make sure that you are moving with this head as we go through it. See how I'm working with that? So if you want to go through and just do section by section, by all means, do section by section. But I think what's critical, guys, is the fact that you've really got to understand where your hand is in terms of when you're working with this, because I want this to be a little bit more too round in terms of a pixie. A lot of times we see pixies, they tend to be a little bit more square. It's just a matter of understanding facial features in terms of what do you want to bring out. All right, so here we go. Now I'm here. So I'm up at this corner. So right here's where I'm at, okay? So really what happens is once I'm here, I'm going to lift my elbow up, put myself in an uncomfortable position so you can see, okay? And I'll bring it down just slightly because of the way I'm going to elevate this, okay? All right, if there's any questions, guys, don't hesitate to let me know if you have any questions. All right, here we go, right here. This is where I'm at. I'm going to lift my elbow, okay, so you can see. Here's where I'm at. Now, there's my guide, and this is what I'm cutting. So now I'm going to come through. I'll drop my elbow now so you can see, and now I come through, and I move left to right, left to right. So by cutting it this way, the underneath of this section right here is getting longer. The top of that is getting its shortest. So that's what's great about this in terms of that. So when I cut short to long like this, I know that that's going to give me a line that does this, where it goes short to long like this. But what's cool is notice how I'm getting that texture on that edge almost immediately, almost immediately. All right, let's go towards that front. Now in the front, I'm leaving a little bit more length into that front area. So watch how I will take, here's my guide, and here's my guide. So I got these two sections as my guide. I'm going to elevate straight up to it, which is going to give me a little bit more length in the fringe area. Then we'll come back in after we are done, and we will detail that fringe area. If you can see, guys, there's a short piece on the right and a short piece on the left. Once I've got that. Now, obviously, this was not how I was taught to cut. Take all the hair at once and do this. There are some people that say, don't believe in this. Guys, I'm not here to touch your belief system. I just want to share with you just different ways in which to approach things and how you could go in and cut things. All right, so now take a look at how I've been able to get my length in that fringe area. So, Sam, if I wanted more length in that fringe area, what would I do? Then you would just simply go through and you would pull back a little bit more. If I don't have texturizing shears and just my regular, how would you suggest cutting it? Slide cut it. I would suggest just slide cut it or point cut into it very deeply. That's how I would suggest it if you don't have any blending shears. And look at how I'm just getting that end result in that, in terms of that. So just a simple way to do it. Now let's go to the third step. So let's take a look at that third step. On this third step here, you're going to see me start to pivot where I'm going to work in radial sections. So I'm going to take each section right from where it grows. I'm going to take that right from where it grows. So this is where I'm going to be going in and doing that. So it's working in, once again, radial sections, radial sections, radial sections. So I'm going to let this length overlap what I just created. So let's knock this down and watch what's going to take place. If you're doing good, give me a hands up. If you're learning something, just give me a hands up and let me know how you're doing, guys. And let's go through the top. All right. So now what's key here, Sam, when you're cutting this top area? First of all, I want you to be aware, comb it in its natural falling position. So I want you to comb it in its natural falling position. I had a question. So a slight diagonal to keep it soft, including the blending shear, then you are building up weight, correct? That's correct. But remember, the angle of my blending shear was to the shape of the head. So my finger position was to the shape of the head. Just cut like you normally would a blunt line and let it collapse, and immediately you're going to get weight, a little bit of weight length on the ends, which is weight, and shortness above that. That's what's giving this a really soft edge as I'm working through. All right, so here we go. Let's take this now. Bring it down, okay, just so you can see. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take her. I love these pivot point tripods, guys. And the mannequin I'm working with is Lydia from Pivot Point. This is the Sam Villa mannequin from Pivot Point. And I love this because it's 14 inches of length. So you can do a lot of things with it, up styles, iron work, whatever it is that you happen to want to do. Now let's just take her out of the picture for a moment. And then look where I'm looking for this pivot point. All I want you to do is just look for that. And then I want you to just spin and comb just around that. Okay? So now watch what we're going to do. So I'm going to come through, take a vertical section in this back area. Okay, go profile so you can see. All right, let's bring her up just slightly. So I'm going to go profile in that back area. Okay, and in this back, giving you a profile view, I'm going to take vertical sections. All right, so let's take a look where we're at with length. Now, I don't want to overlap this a lot. So you can start to see, here's my length. Let me show it to you. There's my length there underneath, and here's the length I have on top. So all I want this to do is just slightly overlap over that. But I'm going to cut this top to the shape of the head. So here I go, taking my first vertical section. I'll give you a profile view of the elevation. Okay? And I'm going to overlap my fingers. Take a look at where my guide is at. There's my guide. Step out of the way so you can see it. That little piece there you see is my guide. Here's my length. Now watch me just slide slightly over that. So I'm going to go about 2 fingers, 1, 2, there. Now I'm going to take the blending shear. Blending shear goes in. And I just come through, move left, move right, and just really just collapse. Excuse me, just release the length. Okay, come back through. Sam, once again, why do you move left to right? I'm moving left to right because I want to go in, guys, and I want to make sure I get all of that hair. All right, here we go. Now I'm going to pivot. So I pivot. So all I'm going to do is use that guide. I'm going to take it right where it's at. So my combing angle is on this side, the opposite side, not the front side, the back side. So it pushes that right to its natural fall, folding and looking for the line. There it is there, and coming through and moving left to right, left to right. That's real simple in terms of just releasing that. When you release this, you're going to start to see you're just getting soft edges, as you'll see as I'm working around. I'm going to go through, take another section. Don't do what I just did, pull the hair that was left. Sorry, my dear Lydia. I'm sorry, Mom. All right, here we go. Take a section, take my guide. There's my guide. Okay, so I've taken my guide. There's the guide. So you can see the guide. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the hair I'm cutting. Watch me comb to that. See, I comb to that, fold, and look for my guide. There's my guide. Stay with the guide and move left to right, right to left. Just continue moving. Okay, and I just, just kind of slide out if you want. And then you'll come back and see how I'm just going to work with the Invisiblend shear. Now look, I'm just continuing to work right around that. That's all I'm doing. Okay, here. Any questions? Okay. If you're enjoying this, just give me a hands up. Want to see a hand up, guys, if you're enjoying this. All right. Just give me a hands up. Love that. Great. All right, here we go. Now watch. When you're cutting this, I'm going to recommend you're working with the fine teeth of the comb. And the reason we're working with the fine teeth of the comb is because what we want to do, guys, is we want to work with the fine teeth of the comb so we get a little bit more tension out of it. That's why I'm working with the fine teeth of the comb. Now, I know there's a buddy out there that's told me, Sam, I've done a entire haircut with your texture shear, and that's Chris Barron and Chris Moody, and that's with the reversible blender. You can start to see just the texture, just how I actually almost tiered this. If you follow me around for a while, it's just actually tearing it, these sections. That's all I'm doing. Let's give her a head straight up so you can see where I'm at. Now I'm right down in that center, taking my top, watch the fine teeth. I comb away from me, so that I get the hair that I'm about to cut. I can go through and cut exactly from where it grows, so I'm not tending to I'll drop my elbow so you can see. So I'm not tending to go over and overcomb this. I think if there's any tool that gives us issues, it is the comb. It's that tool that tends to make the mistake all the way through. Okay, so once again, let's just talk about what I did. I just took a section as it rounds off at the hairline, dropped that all the way back to below the bridle ridge. I cut that with the reversible blenders, and I cut that working blending comb over the shear. That's all I did. Just work with the blending shear over the comb, and that's all I did was just work that all the way through. All right. So
hey, Sammy.
Yes, Andrew.
I got a question. I got a couple questions coming in from the crowd about how long this might take them to perform in the salon.
Oh, great question, Andrew. Well, if they pre-section and then if they go and cut, I would say this haircut would probably take no more than 20 minutes. Okay, why? Because of the compressing concept behind it on that lower section. And then if notice, I'm cutting this top area with a lot more discipline to it in terms of when I cut it. So I would say, Andrew, to answer that question, it's probably going to take about 20 minutes. But then again, I'm answering you in terms of me, what it would take me. Now, some other people, it might take them a little bit longer, but I will guarantee you that this will be much quicker. And I think you'll save time doing it this way, Andrew, if that helps. All right, continue to work through. Now, once I've created this, watch how I'll come back in with my Invisiblends, and I'll just come through and create even a softer edge a little bit deeper. Now, what do I mean by an Invisiblend? An Invisiblend, you'll find that the sharp blade is actually over polished, so it's dull, so it actually pushes the hair, which is why we went through and made it that way. And the idea was to create something a little bit more where you automatically were able to layer blonde hair and not see the line in blonde hair. That's why we specifically did it that way, where it's over polished. And I'm talking about the Invisiblend shear as I'll use to clean that up as I get to the end. Okay, so I've got a couple more sections to do. And once I elevate, notice I'm overlapping my fingers. Sometimes I'm going to cut palm to palm. In this particular case, if I cut palm to palm, my elbow is going to be too high. So I'm choosing to drop my elbow and take it right over my hand. But watch how my fingers overlap. Hopefully you can just start to see how they overlap. That's going to give me nice, even tension all the way through as I'm working with this. Okay, and continue to release. So look how I continue to just release hair. And I think you have to kind of it's like, I know a lot of you out there, I'm probably affecting your belief system saying, I'll never do that. Well, I say try. Just try it. Because here's what happens, guys. If you watch, I think that little video I put on creativity, sometimes creativity is it just takes courage. Try it. I guarantee if you try it, you'll probably come out with another way that it works for you in terms of working this particular concept of working with a blending shear. Some people tend to call this a thinning shear, Andrew. I love to call this a blending shear. If I use thinning shear, it tends to I found it scares clients. And that's the last thing that I want to do. And I'm looking for that texture. Remember, this is more of a textured Pixie. I think later on you're going to see another approach to it. But the idea, once again, is working with tools in a different way. So how would you recommend my attitude about that, Sam? Any coaching for that? Yes. I really believe that fashion designers, they understand the limits and capabilities of silk. They understand the limits and capabilities of wool. So we as hairdressers must understand the limits and capabilities of the fabric that we're working with. So I think we really have to be aware of what's the fabric you're working with. That's going to tell you, what you can do in terms of texturizing techniques, what you can do in terms of the way you're going to elevate it. Fine hair, it's better if we go through and we elevate that a little bit more, kind of not so high, but a little bit more low elevation, so that you have the ability to create wave. Now look at this. I haven't even dried this, but I could dry this. This is an exaggerated version of what I just showed you. Look at the strong undercut under that, and then put the geometrics in it. But underneath that, you're going to see that degree of softness. Now this circle was a smaller circle that worked through that. Okay, here's another version of it with a little bit longer. What I want you to notice here is how I pulled back on that fringe a little bit more to maintain some more length. And then it's just a matter of just angling your fingers so that you create a little bit more of a fringe in that top area. So really simple way to go about and take and go after a Pixie. So what I want to do is I'm going to go through and watch me just hit this with a dryer. And all I want to do with the dryer is I'm going to work with my hands. And if anything, I want that texture to pop. So the product of choice I'm going to work with, I'm going to go through and I'm going to take rough paste. Watch what I'm going to do. Take a small amount of my Redken rough paste. I love this product, but I'm going to take this product and I'm just going to take my dryer, put it on low heat, and I'm just going to start to melt that in my hand a little bit. I like to do this with my men because a lot of times what happens is they tend to get too much product in one area. It's warm. I don't have it on high heat. I have it on low heat. Now, once I've melted that, now watch me emulsify. See how I just emulsify that? Now look at the consistency that I've got. Now I can just come through and just work that through. And see how it just gives me that separation. Look at the texture I've got. Guys, what I love about this is that I didn't have to go back in and texturize. That's what's so cool about taking this approach. Okay, Chanel, your mind is blown. I love this. Never thought to do almost a whole haircut with blending shears. Isn't it amazing how you can do a whole entire haircut with the blending shears? Make sure, Chanel, that it's the proper fabric that you're using that tool on. Remember, my friends, I was trained to be precise. Everything had to blend. I had to cross-check everything, and that was important. Now my belief system has changed. And I think just as the seasons change outside, we need to change. And now is a great opportunity. With our daily life now's an opportunity for you to discover. Discover as many things as you can any way you possibly can. Andrew, how are we doing, brother?
Hey, bud. Good. Hey, I just wanted to kind of bring up a couple of questions. There's kind of a handful of repeat questions. The first one's about fabric, kind of like you were talking about. So people are asking, like, can you do this on curly hair? Are there things that you would do differently with curly hair?
Okay, we just did a curly hair, a do's and don'ts of curly hair. So I suggest you go to our YouTube channel to take a look at that. I would not suggest this on curly hair. All right, remember, the ends need friends with curly hair. So when I'm going through and cutting like this, I'm kind of disrupting that edge a little bit. So if anything, if you want to texture curly hair, I suggest you notch it with a flatter angle, not with a steep angle like this. Once again, you're going through and you're losing the ends. Why, Sam? Because if I keep it like this, Andrew, I go too deep and I cut too deep, what happens is this starts to frizz. So I recommend not do that. I would recommend go through and maybe notch your ends really steep and horizontal so they have weight, and then maybe get back in there and weave and blunt, and you'll find that technique on our YouTube channel.
Cool. And then the other question that's come up pretty often too, because when you were cutting that back, you had her head kind of down and tilted forward like that. Is that something that you would recommend that they do in the salon? Does it matter with like head position?
Thank you for asking, Andrew. Great question. All right, so let's talk about that. All right, let's turn a profile so you can see that. If I go through and her head is straight up, let me grab a black one. And I know that that is horizontal. Okay, so take a look at this against the white backdrop. You know that that line right there, the spine, let's do the spine. That is 90 degrees. It's parallel with the floor. Let me get it right. There we go. It's 90 degrees parallel with the floor. Now watch this. If I tilt her head down, and now I look at that, and that's 90 degrees, but if she brings her head back up, look at the elevation that's become. So if you tilt the head down, be aware of where you're at and know that because that head is tilted down, that is the angle of 90 degrees based upon where her head is, because when I bring her back up, she's 90 degrees. I hope that answers the question. So can you tilt the head down? Sure you can. Just be aware of your degree of elevation based upon how the head is tilted down. Does that help to answer that question, Andrew? I hope it does, my friend.
Perfect.
All right. So guys, once again, let's just recap this so that you have a really cool, clear picture of how I approached this and what I did. Okay, let's take a look at the sectioning first. All right, I'm going to use my pencil so you can kind of see this right here. Okay, so my sectioning, I suggest you start the top crown section first, isolate that height will be based upon density. Once you get that, use the curvature of that hairline, follow it. Just follow that. Bring that all the way back down to just at your occipital, below that occipital. Once again, base this line on density. Those two sections are isolated. Then I want you to take the blending shear and just come scissor over comb and just wipe that out, guys. Just wipe it out. Remember, how you elevate this when you cut, when you close that scissor, make sure that is elevated. You're taking that comb and lifting and close when that hair is elevated by the horizontal line. If you elevate and cut and close the shear when that is horizontal, that's why you're getting steps in your men's haircut. So that's a cool little tip to remember, my friends. All right, let's go over here now. All right, so that was step one when I undercut it. Step two, I basically took that rim. Let's call this a rim, this little area in here. I basically took that rim, and all I did was you could do it vertically like this. I elevated horizontally, all of that, just horizontally back to me, and I was aware of where I am on the head this way. So I'm showing you here in the drawing another way you could do it. If you say, I want to take vertical section, Sam, and work my way around, you could over direct to each previous section. And by doing that, that's going to give you a little bit longer length in the back, almost like a mulet. Here's what I did in step 3, guys. All I simply did was elevate right where it's at, right where it's at, right where it's at, right where it's at. And then basically cut to the round of the head. And I cut to the round of the head because I knew I wanted this top area here. I wanted that top area to have some degree of shortness to it. I hope you're able to learn something here. And that's so important to us that in these next 2 days, you have an opportunity to really grasp something that you can take back to the salon. That's so, so important to us. And the next thing, my friends, coming up next, let me take a look at my schedule. Coming up next is the awesome Jesse Linares. And I believe, Andrew, if I'm correct, Andrew, I can't see my calendar, but my schedule, but I believe he's coming up and he's going to be doing some long layers. But we also have some prizes to give away. But before we do that, there's somebody special I want to add or want you to meet and introduce to you. Andrew, have I missed anything, buddy?
No. Why don't we go ahead and talk about the giveaway? I'm trying to get Steve on, so.
All right, here we go. Let's talk about the giveaway. All right, the first giveaway that I'm going to give away is the Invisalign. Now, this in here, I could come back through. Let's go through back, as I said. So if I see any lines inside of a haircut, let's say that I'm going through and I see lines inside this haircut. Then what I want to do is I want to go back and get the lines out. A lot of people will go there, they'll point cut, or they'll take a blending shear and just close it. Sometimes how to do it. This is a great shear with when you're going to go in and you're working with blonde hair. It's just a great shear to work with. Get my bearings here. There we go. Now, what I've done, don't panic. Look at the weight I'm putting on this. We've over polished this blade. So make sure it won't cut my finger, right? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come through and I'm going to close and slide on the way out. When I close and slide on the way out, watch this hair. I'll give you a vertical view of this. When I come through and I close, watch the hair move. It gets pushed slightly up. Now what's happening is, because that hair is getting pushed, I'm getting more of a scallop edge, more of a U-shaped edge than a blunt edge that the blending shear might tend to give me. This shear might tend to give me. So there's a big difference between the two, between a blending and Invisalign. So someone is going to win an Invisalign shear, and I'm very excited about that. The next thing is somebody's going to win is they're going to win Redken's new Extreme Bleach Recovery Range. You get up to Redken to continue to come out with some things for you. And remember, guys, I'm not selling here. This is a giveaway, so I want you to know what you're getting. It's basically, I look at this as a liquid bandage for compromised hair. And that's what's great about it. So make sure you check that out. This is what it looks like in terms of somebody is going to win. And how you win, that's what you're going to do right there. You're going to enter text to 888-812-1115. So text contest to 888-812-1115. And once again, somebody's going to have an opportunity to win this awesome great Extreme Bleach Recovery Range. Once again, a liquid bandage. Andrew, how are we doing bringing Steve Sleeper on? Let me set you up while Andrew's bringing him on. But I'm so honored to have the Professional Beauty Association, aside from Pivot Point, Redken, and the ABS, America's Beauty Show, supporting us on this event. But I wanted to give Steve Sleeper, the president of the Professional Beauty Association, an opportunity to speak to you, just 5 minutes, in terms of what we're trying to do here. Now, our tools, if you're interested, some people, I want to get some tools, I want to get some tools. We've discounted our tools 40%. And then what we're doing is we're taking 10% of all of those sales and we're giving it to what Steve is about to talk, which is the PBA COVID-19 Relief Fund. Steve, welcome, my friend.
Hey, how are you doing, Sam?
I'm doing great. Great. Thanks for being with us, Steve. I'm going to let you take the floor and tell us a little bit about PBA and COVID-19 Relief Fund.
Yeah, so I'll try and make it quick. So the Professional Beauty Association, obviously we're a nonprofit membership association, which obviously Sam is a member. And guys, we've been putting together a COVID relief fund, which has been modeled after what we've done for about 50 years with our disaster relief fund. So the relief fund is about putting short-term cash into the hands of beauty professionals when they need it. We've started to we've raised just over $1 million, which was huge. The goal is to get that engine keep going, and we started awarding funds about 3 weeks ago. So we've got a lot of folks putting their applications in for aid, and we're awarding all of those applications on a lottery basis. So if you don't get drawn in the first round of funding, we're keep going round after round after round. So you're eligible every single time we make one of those drawings for aid out of the funds that are available. And really the focus now, Sam, has been on donations, right? We know we've had a lot of our major brands step up, and even small companies do whatever they can to donate and support. And now we're trying to get some of those smaller, $5, $10, $15, $20 donations from a lot more folks, and that'll help bring in a lot more dollars that we can distribute.
Steve, we as hairdressers, we really just want to thank the Professional Beauty Association for being such a great resource for hairdressers to go to for help and assistance in this crisis. You guys have really stepped up to the plate. And with the Samvia brand and a lot of hairdressers, we cannot thank you guys enough for what you're doing to support the industry. And I think what you're doing is really going to lead to a healthy, sustainable industry. And that's so important to all of us. Our hope is that there's no borders between employers, employees, independents, session stylists, influencers, platform artists, brands, salons, educators. Our hope is that there are no borders when this crisis is done. So together, let's support COVID-19 Relief Fund and become a member of the PBA. Membership right now is free. And by the way, if you're a NAHA fan, they support and they are NAHA. Steve, thanks for being with us, buddy. And we
glad it.
Go ahead.
I'm so thankful for the opportunity to join everyone. And, like you said, go to the website, Sam. We're offering the free membership. We've got a ton of other resources just on, how to get to the aid, how to get to the governmental aid, other great practical tips and information about how to weather this storm. So
thanks again, Steve. And we'll see you again tomorrow morning, my friend. Thank you so much for your support. We love you.
Great. Thanks, Sam. Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care, Steve. All right, guys, there you have it. Please support PBA. And coming right up after we give some prizes away is going to be Jesse Linares. So, Andrew, can you tell me who's won that first prize, which happens to be the Invisiblend and the Redken the Extreme Bleach Recovery Range?
I actually can't.
Are people still entering?
Yeah. So what's going to happen is, as you enter the contest, it's going to go to our customer advocacy department. They'll be doing a random selection from those text messages that we receive during the live feed, and then you'll get a message back and say, "Yay, you're the winner!" And at the end of the day, we'll announce all the winners for the day, but you will definitely hear back from our customer advocacy team pretty soon if you are the winner of the Invisiblend sheer and the Redken products.
And yes, we're going to be doing that, giving it to everybody. Everybody. We're going to give each segment. We're going to be giving something away. All right, I'm excited about this guy coming up. Andrew, tell us a little bit about Jesse.
Yeah, so we have Jesse Linares that's going to be joining us here in about 15 minutes. He's going to share some haircutting with long layers. What I really love about our team in general, Sam, is just that you really allow us to really be ourselves and be individuals within the team. So I think Jesse has such a unique way that he approaches haircutting, even very different from you, very different from me. So I'm excited to watch too.
Yeah, I mean, the guy is just amazing. Andrew, I've got somebody here that's asking if they can see just the head sheet. And while we're just, to kind of keep a little bit going, I know we're going to give everybody a break, but let me answer this question for them and let them see this head sheet. So I'm going to move over here so you can see it and give you guys a great view of the head sheet. So that's the sectioning. So I'm going to get my head out of the way. That's the sectioning right there. Okay, now let's move over to this other one. Thank you, Andrew. Okay, this other one, excuse me, guys, I'm trying to work it as best I can. All right, there we go. That's step 2 on the top, and then step 3. Okay, now step 2, what I'm showing you is working it vertically. I elevated everything to up vertically and compressed it, but I worked with the round of the head. So I hope hope that answers that question, being able to see the flip charts up close and personal. All right, Andrew, we're going to take a 15-minute break because during every segment, we'll take a little bit of break, give you an opportunity to use the ladies' men's room, adjust your surroundings around your house. That might be the kids, which I need to go do. And then it might be, maybe it's just getting something, a bevy if your favorite choice, and having a bevy. All right, we'll see you in 15. Andrew, anything to add, brother?
No, if you wouldn't mind, Sammy, just leave your feed on for just a minute or two as you walk away, and we'll leave the sectioning up on the screen for a few minutes if they want to take a screenshot of that or something. And guys, I'll leave the banner up that has how you entered to win the prize, and we'll leave this up just for a few minutes as we transition to Jesse Linares.
Yes. Thanks, guys. I'll see you later tonight at 7:15 Eastern Standard Time. I'll be back up ending the day with you, and I look forward to that. And that's going to be all about layering tops and crowns, and I'm excited about that. Have a nice little break. See you soon. Don't miss Jesse Linares coming up soon in 15 minutes. Thanks.